It's such a shame. I tried to be an optimist, but people stay the same. I know I made that statement as if people never change. It's not even my fault, but why do I feel so ashamed? Hey, is this what they became? Is this how they behave? Broke the key off the lock, I snapped the lock from the chain. Penny for your thoughts that I don't ever wanna save. The things you entertain, I would have sworn was just a phase. Missing pieces from the puzzle, so I can't complete the maze. Hey, then I changed my ways. Get the
I was in grade one for a couple of days in the English class, and I was removed from the English class to go to the Afrikaans class because they had to make space for fair skin colored children. So now, 6 years old, 7 years old, I realized something is wrong with me because I'm taken out of the English class. And then we had to answer friends' questions all the time. Why is your brother in the English class and you're in Afrikaans class? Which then already made me realize something is drastically wrong. And that was apartheid. Because of your color, you don't belong in the English class, you need to go, and we must make space for the fair skinned children. That's just that's just one of the things that apartheid created because it was practiced even with like us children. My name is Lucille Parense. I'm actually retired, but I am helping out at Simon van der Stel Primary in Wynberg as a grade 2 teacher. My father was he lived in District 6 all his life. He really, really loved being there. Life was very good. It was safe. He would tell us as a young man how they all belong to different gangs, but not violent gangs. They would stand on corners and sing ballads to all the passerbys, especially the women. And then they also escorted people, especially at night, who had to walk far distances. They would walk them right to their homes. The midwives, if they were on their way delivering a baby, to deliver a baby, then they would take them right to the house, wait for her, and then escort her back home. So they really, really, really enjoyed the safety, and they enjoyed the fun they had. And then the movie house, that is one of the things that Pa did a lot, weekends especially. And then they would sit. They would sit at the bottom, and some people at the top would throw peanuts at them, and they were referred to as a peanut gallery. And that's how that saying was coined. District 6 was actually overcrowded, and one would have thought that's a recipe for drama. But actually, that they were so happy and harmonious that my father would, whenever he spoke about District 6, his eyes were lit up, and he just sort of went into another world. And to me, he says to me, life will never be the same for him. We were so many different cultures and different religions with different people, very diverse. But we played together. We didn't see any difference. So that I remember. And I rolled down the staircase and had a huge knob on my forehead, and all the aunties would run and come and see to help. And they put a penny, which was a very big coin, they put that on my forehead and tied up. And a couple of days later, that knob was down. But that is how they, like your child was my child.
Mm.
Those are the two events I remember.
Do you feel like communities like that still exist today, where the aunties in the next house will come and run and help the kids that are playing?
Not, not anymore, not at all. In District 6, I feel that it was really the village, it took the village to raise the children that we saw. And I personally think that sharing is caring. I think that was invented in District 6 because there you really saw how everybody, they cared about any child, any person, irrespective of race, color, creed. They really cared about each other. I was 4 years old when we moved to Crawford. Um, Number one, things were very different. I mean, we had to use public transport. In public transport, we had, um, if you ended up in public transport in town, like everything that we wanted to do, we had to go to town. There were no malls when we grew up. So that means we had to use public transport. It was expensive. When we got to town, the buses, especially in town, we had to sit at the top and the whites at the bottom, irrespective of whether the mommy was pregnant or old or so. You realize that something's not right, and why, why are we treated so differently? And then the grown-ups would explain that we must keep quiet because the colored people were very scared of the law. Extremely scared of the law. So you didn't want to you know, step out of line because jail wasn't a very nice place. And so you just try to do what you were supposed to do. So for me, I mean, it made me realize very quickly something's wrong with us. But the thing about apartheid is that the apartheid spilled over into the colored community. So the coloreds also they've also practiced apartheid among themselves, like the fair skin coloreds, the dark skin coloreds. I mean, children who, if a light skinned child, which I experienced, if a light skinned child played with me and here in the neighborhood, then when she gets home, she gets a hiding for playing with me. I mean, that is how we grew up. I mean, like I had a colleague who would mention referring to a maid that looks like you to me, and then we discovered that is the way she was reared. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Apartheid spilled over into the colored community because um, they realized, okay, if you're fair, then you're better, and if you're dark, because that is basically the gist of it. We weren't white enough, that's why we had to get out. If we were all whites living there, I don't think that would have happened. Colored people still have backyard dwellers, which means they were forced out of these areas, out of the statistics into to the Cape Flats. They're living there, far from everything. Families are growing, and so they end up in the yard. Forceful removal. I think that was mean. That was a plan created to advantage the white people, and it was to put. I mean, the colored people were thrown out so far that life became so difficult for them. I really think that was not that, that was inhumane. This is how they started becoming frustrated, and I would say that could have contributed to the crime because out of frustration and they couldn't get to things. So what would be the next thing? Go and steal or break in. What the government has done, they've very little because there is so much land still standing vacant. Um, as far as trauma is concerned, we're not aware of it because we were one of those families who had to get out of District 6. My father rented, so we are not entitled to get a house or a property or anything. And I mean, we lived there, he paid rent, we made use of all the facilities. So I just feel that enough was not done.
My name is Julian Paul, and currently I'm retired, so there's not much that I do. The apartheid era was a big eye opener for me. We all joined what they called SECOS those days, South African sports. You know, we were opting for equal opportunities in the sporting arena. So we all joined SECOS where we only participate amongst ourselves. When I say amongst ourselves, I mean only the colored people. So we stayed away from the so-called established sports in the community. It made us think a lot, you know, and I know that sports eventually turned out to be a big equalizer. So regardless of which sport you participate in, once you're lined up or you're on the sports field, soccer, rugby, whatever sports, then we all equal. Ooh, sports is the opportunity that is there for us. You know, on the Cape Flats, there isn't much learning opportunity. So sports also will open doors for you.
So this room is dedicated for those that work hard, like Penny McCarthy, who Anton Franz, Ashley Keel, and many others. Um, some people on the Cape Flats are extremely hard to get to where they want to be. Ashley Creel was a freedom fighter for the ANC. He sacrificed his life. If you follow his story, his story, he fought for his people. And many years later, his people are still actually part of the struggle, part of the system that has captured us. And then you have, Tally Peterson. Tally Peterson was a musician. He was brilliant at what he did. And he lost his life a few years ago. He's actually a doctor now. And then recently, Jonathan Butler, he got his doctorate by the University of Stellenbosch. And we're very proud of him, a young boy from Athlone that went overseas and he actually flew the Cape Flats flag very high. And these are people that did very well. And then you also have a Penny McCarthy. Penny McCarthy, I mean, where in your life would you have thought that somebody from a Nova Park would be a coach at Manchester United? I don't like them, but okay. Where in your life would you have thought that would have been possible from the Cape Flats, from a Nova Park? And then you have Amy Kleinans. Then you have Yuan Noah. She was very popular back in the day. She's still popular, and many others. And then you have Anton Franz. And you have Colleen, which was part of that group of people that fought, a good fight to get us people independent. From slavery, from the mentality of a system that wants to oppress us. So these are people that has been working hard, and they have done their utmost best, and they fought a good fight. If we're gonna like it or not, they did their part. On the other side of the wall, let me just show you guys quickly. So I'm using that. On the other side of the wall, you have what our youngsters admire: gangsterism and drugs. A guy standing with guns with an American flag. You have young people that are sacrificing their life for nothing, fighting over a territory that belongs to the city of Cape Town. I mean, I still find it fascinating that we would fight over a territory that belongs to the city of Cape Town and we call it ours. So if you want to become a statistic, then do nothing. Just go with what has been set out for us. But if you want to become somebody special, then work hard, have a purpose-driven life. These people out there, many of them making excuses. Yeah, the system put us here, the system did this to us. Yes, we have hardships and hard times, but at the end of the day, it all depends on you. Are you going to take the easy way out? Are you going to become a gangster? Are you going to become a drug dealer? Or are you going to work hard and find yourself in your purpose in life? You can choose either that side of the wall or this side of the wall.
It was sad that people were treated so badly just because of the color of their skin. And the young people must never ever allow that to happen to them because you are different. There it was, I mean, we understood that we are different and so we don't deserve the best. That is the message we got as colored people.
After that we can cuddle, picking up part of what I said in the back of the Hummer. It's an interesting summer, penny for your thoughts. I gotta clean out my head for a fumble. Damn. Yeah, that shit.